I think we're ready. So let's go. Let's do this.
Okay.
Why are... Oh, that's why. Hold on. Wrong web page. There we go.
Oh,
Post.
are you on the wrong tab, Scott? Wrong tab? Oh, wrong tab, Scott?
Wrong tab.
Wrong tab.
What are we advertising for news today? Let's say...
Oh, yeah.
Do you have something? Do you have a thing? You have anything to pimp?
No, do your whatever the new 50% off thing is. Or do you have that in the bottom?
Oh, I have that from yesterday, and I think it still goes till...
Oh, till noon today.
Wait, noon Eastern. So is that over yet? No, there's still time.
Nah, we'll be in an hour.
All right. Maybe I won't worry about it. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. I'll pimp a show. Okay. Let's see. Let's do... I'll do this. Like Dungeons and Dragons.
There we go.
So do we. Check out There Will Be Dungeons.com and get the podcast or VOD today. Okay. All right, Brian, it's time. Here goes. It starts in 3, 2, 1.
Aaron, behave while I'm gone, and I'll let you in on what I've been doing in the cellar.
This has nothing to do with my balls.
As the man around here, you can quote me on this. Is the morning stream.
Have not heard that in a while. It's good to hear.
No, it's a oldie but a goodie.
Yeah, he's good at. He's a singer, man. He can, do the vibrato and the whatnot. He doesn't do it nearly enough.
It's not a surprise either because he's got such a great speaking voice that his singing voice would have to be top notch.
Yeah, he's got the good pipes.
That's right.
Good pipes. Welcome to the show, everybody. It is TMS for July 11th, 2019. I'm Scott Johnson with Brian Ibbett, as we always are, right here in the morning. Hi, Brian. Good morning.
Hi. Hello, Scott. Hello, world. Hello, I'm in your ears.
I trust
world.
you had a good overnight. You had a good night?
Yeah, what day do you think this is?
Apparently, not too sure at this point what day it is.
Wow, Kim, how long has Kim been gone? An hour? Half an hour?
Well, here's the problem. Today I'm on farmer hours. I got up at 4 a.m.,
Ooh.
and because she had to leave by 5, but we had a bunch of stuff to do to move around, like put stuff in coolers and stuff before she left. So got up at 4, did all of that, ran over to somebody's house whose freezer was full of Fat Boys. A freezer full of Fat Boys.
Yikes! Wow. Yeah. Did you call the police?
They were much smaller and ice cream sandwich-like than I expected. I thought they'd be people.
Oh, those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Phew.
I thought for a minute it would be like bodies, but no. Anyway, we brought all those back over.
With Fat Boys, is that like a?
Have you never had those? They're fantastic.
No, Fat Boys ice cream.
Oh yes, dude,
sandwiches?
The best ice cream sandwiches you can ever have ever.
Oh, look at okay. I think I've seen this logo. Yes.
Yeah, you may have seen it
Casper's
before.
Ice Cream Fat Boy ice cream sandwich.
Yeah.
Why have I never had these?
They're really good. The outer whatever this bread part is. What is that? Whatever that is.
Yeah.
That is just to die for on those. It's so good. And
these look like and they're like blocks, like Klondike bar blocks.
Oh, they're thick as bricks. Those things.
Are these? So is Sorry, I'm just looking to see. Is Casper a local Utah thing?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we grew up with them, so it's possible.
Do I just not do enough shopping to know where?
That's a good question.
To know that this is available in just regular ass grocery stores. Oh yeah, look at that. It's available at the grocery store that I can see from my house.
Oh. Well, I mean, lately it wouldn't be a thing you were looking for because you're on this awesome diet of yours. But the Fat Boy ice cream is
right there in the name. It's probably something I should stay away from, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a good point. It's literally called Fat Boy,
Yeah, there it is right there. Okay, available at the King Supers right by my house.
And they do other stuff. They got the cone things with all the stuff on them and the frozen whatevers, but their Fat Boy is unbelievable. Anyway, we had a whole freezer full of these. It's like
at some point, do they sing Wipeout?
No, they don't. I wish. Oh my gosh, the Fat Boys.
The Fat Boys.
Why did we ever?
Do they appear as orderlies in a movie called Disorderlies?
Do they feature a Christmas song on the annual All-Star Christmas album? Didn't they do that once? Exactly. I think they did that once. But anyway.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I'm sorry. Please continue. I've really derailed us.
It's all right. We went places. So this is at 4:30 in the morning, and we're digging through somebody's freezer. It's pitch black. Everyone there's sleeping, but they knew we were going to be there. We had keys, so we did that. We get back to the house. We stage everything out in the front yard. I put a picture up on Twitter this morning. 200 kids worth of food, or enough food for 200 kids.
Wow!
All laid out on the sidewalk and on the grass in front of the house. And then a bunch of ladies show up in a trailer, and then we loaded up the trailer like a bad game of Tetris, because the trailer's too effing small, and so we couldn't get everything where it needed to go, and so we were constantly playing Tetris, trying to just fit a little piece in here and then squeeze a piece in there. But we finally got it, and they had a great big spider web from like the electric company, the one where he shoots it out and it's like ropes.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yes.
We had one of those, and they laid it over the top of this thing, and we tied it all down, and about 15 ladies said thank you for your help, and I said no problem. And now I'm all weirded out. Now I feel weird. I got up at 4 and I feel weird. So that's where my head's at. That's how I'm feeling.
Oh, look at that! Wow, look at that layout with like padding and rolls and cooler. One of those orange thermos water cooler things like you see on the back of construction trucks.
Yep, every time you can count on those damn things. So
yep,
that wasn't even all of it. There was a whole nother chunk that came later. But Kim's gone. I'm here. I'm queer. Get used to it. All right. Let's have a little bit of fun. You know what I should have done? I should have prepped like a cool Australian song thing as an intro.
Well, I put a link in the in our Discord if you want to use that. That's
right.
Jacko, who did the Ever Ready Energizer commercials.
All right, I'm playing it. Here it comes.
What's the longest lasting battery you can buy? Oh, Dennis the Binder! New Energizer!
Oh my gosh.
The Binder! New Energizer!
Do people Gidget in Australia just hate that guy? Like, what do they feel about that guy?
The minute you put it up, I'd never heard it before, and I'd never heard of that guy before. So I was just like, yeah, I can relate to that.
This is new then.
Like,
Jacko,
yeah. I don't remember much about Jacko though, Brian. Like I have a very limited memory of Jacko and what his whole.
Don't you remember that
was.
guy? Those videos with him and his didn't he put the battery on his shoulder and dare you to knock it off? Or that might have been only Robert Conrad.
A different guy.
We've had some weird comedy songs. Like used to have a guy called Rodney Rude who used to do some weird songs. And it's funny that you mentioned Zumanity, because I actually, when we were in Vegas with my partner, Colonel Kickhead, I actually got dragged on stage and people thought I was part of the act.
At Zumanity?
You got dragged on the stage at Zumanity?
Whoa.
Yeah, we were like in the front row, and they ignored me the entire performance, and then they dragged me on stage when it did the circular thing. And then I was in the gift shop and people are going, oh, that's the girl from this show. Get an autograph.
Is that hold on, did you just do an American accent? Was that what I heard there?
Yeah, it was
that was a Cyndi Lauper. That was like a Cyndi Lauper Long Island accent there. All right, hold on. A lot of stuff to unpack here. Let's start with this.
All right.
First of all, there's a lot of things that Scott and I disagree on.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, coffee, alcohol, 3D movies.
Yeah, there's a list.
Like
there's a lot of stuff we agree on, we should say.
There's a lot of stuff we agree on.
Way
and
more
I think
than we
one
don't.
of the things that we would both be 100% in agreement on is being pulled up on stage for a Cirque du Soleil show would be our absolute worst nightmare in the world.
I wouldn't want to do it.
So who is saying that it'd be the worst nightmare?
Brian wouldn't like it.
It'd be the worst nightmare for me, but Scott?
Really?
I confirm. I don't want to go up there. No, I don't want to go up there. I'm with Brian.
Oh, look, the thing is, when they come down and they grab you, you've got no choice. It's that situation where they're just like you, and like everyone's looking at you, and you're like, I've got no choice. I've got to get up there.
See, that's why I
And they
hate
hit
it,
me,
because it
and-
feels like you have to do it. I would rather give
You
them
have to
two
do it.
birds and run. Just 2 birds and run out the door.
Yeah.
No, I
exactly.
wanted to. I thought this is fun. I was enjoying the show. I wanted to, and then I had to get on stage, and there was the main guy that commentated the whole thing, and I had to get on top of him and ride, and he's saying to me in a French accent, "Ride me like a pony, ride me, come on, ride me," and this poor other guy's like terrified, and I'm going, you know what? I'm up here. I'm going for it. I
Yeah.
am just gonna nail this guy. I am just gonna
So were you just
smack
like-
his head against the stage,
Well,
and then
this
when we
is
got
the
back.
enemy.
When we got back afterwards, he's like, "Can I come back to your room and we have a little menage a trois?" And I'm like, "No bloody way, mate." I'm
Shut
flying
up!
back
Did
to
he really say
Australia."
that? Did he proposition you? Did he really do that?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, dude! This is
But
why
it
you
was
don't
for
wanna...
the show, right? Like it was on microphone, or was it?
No. This was backstage.
Oh, really? Oh, holy
yeah.
cow!
Because
okay. Wow.
me and Mr. Oklahoma had to walk backstage because the show
Yeah.
was finishing, so they
Yeah.
didn't want us just walking off the stage. So they brought us back, and then he is going, "Oh, come back to your
Wow.
room and we have some
Wow.
fun." And I'm
Cirque
like,
de
"No, mate,
menage.
sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, mate.
Yeah.
So no go."
Zumanity starts and ends with the stage, as far as I'm concerned, there, buddy.
That's
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
exactly.
beginning and end.
Ugh.
There we go.
Well, all right.
I'm
I
going
didn't.
to test you guys on some 80s movies.
Yeah, we're gonna do. This is
I
gonna be a
wonder
total
if that ever
blast.
works. By the way, I wonder if that guy's ever gone back
I'm
to somebody's
sure.
room. Holy cow!
I am sure he's
Yeah, that's
brought
true.
up some poor
You
little
pick-
girl from Arkansas or something.
No,
and
what
he's
you
like,
do is you pick
"Okay."
you pick one of the bridesmaids in those little clusters of wedding party, like bachelorette parties.
Yeah, the
and
ones
for
the
sure.
ones wearing the bridal
stupid
veil,
sashes,
the black
yeah.
bridal veils, because they're the bridesmaids or whatever, and
The
you grab
bride
one of them
squad.
because
Exactly.
yeah.
It's like it's their opportunity. It's like, oh man, this weekend's all about her. But here's an opportunity for some of it to be about me. And then she goes back to the
I'm going on stage, Betty. Wish me luck.
Yeah.
exactly.
Ooh,
I'm gonna
another-
take him back to my room at the Excalibur, and we're gonna do it all night.
Ugh. Wait, where is Zumanity? Where's that held? What's the
That's
casino?
at the Lux. No, where is Zumanity? New York, right?
Is
It was
in-
further down, I remember, because we were meant to go to the Sopranos show, and they hadn't called us to tell us the show had been cancelled. So then the ticket person said, "Look, we'll give you a refund. There's Humanity, but it's just out of the main because it's
Yeah,
not kid friendly.
right.
It is at New York.
It's very sexy.
Where everything is already sticky and grimy.
Yeah.
Yeah, not as much as downtown though.
It's like, oh,
Well,
no, yeah,
you're
yeah.
right. Yes, good point. Good point.
Well, I'm glad that all worked out and everyone's safe and well now. All right, so
Yes.
here's the deal. We're going to do this trivia questions about 80s movies. Now, before we do, I do have music for that, so here you go. All right, that's our theme. Go for it. Lay it
Oh.
on us.
I just put my leg warmers on and everything.
Wow, perfect. You're a maniac.
You're a
It's funny on the
maniac.
floor. All right, so we're going to do it one at a time. So
All right.
I'm going to ask Scott first. So I asked Alex. Alex is at work. So TV Travis, who follows me on Twitter, said that he will keep score. So hello to all the people over in the chat room.
Okay.
Hi, I met a lot of you, by the way.
Yeah.
right.
Awesome bunch of people. So TV Travis is going to keep score. So Scott, if you can't answer, Brian can step in, and Brian, if you can't answer, Scott can step
Oh,
in.
okay, cool.
Perfect.
I like
All
stealing.
right.
Stealing is good
Yeah, right.
in this
Roll my sleeves
context.
up. Okay.
All right.
All right. So question number one: how many movies was Harrison Ford in from 1980 to 1989?
This is total number of films, 80 to 89.
Wow.
And who are you asking
Okay.
first, me or Brian?
Scott,
Okay.
you.
Okay. Thank goodness.
Your one's more hard.
80
Don't
to
worry.
89.
Yeah.
Let me just think real quick. That would have been. I can say stuff. Oh, I don't want to give Brian ideas though. Okay, let's see. Empire. Jones, 2, 3 plus. I think Mosquito Coast was in there. All right, I'm gonna say he made 8 movies during that time.
So close, but nope.
Ah,
Brian?
frick.
I was thinking. I came up with 7.
No,
The 2 Star
10.
Wars. 10.
Oh,
Holy
10.
cow.
What?
Wow.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
Let me think what I'm missing, because, well, I guess we don't have to do the whole list, but I'm.
People always
The
forget
two,
things like
the 2
Frantic.
Star Wars.
right?
Oh, right.
You know those frantic Witness?
Witness.
People forget that. And they got to think, he was in 2 Star Wars movies at the time. He was in all the Indiana Jones movies.
Right.
Yeah, he basically did a movie every year.
He
So,
was
in-
I loved Witness, and I can't believe I forgot it. I love Witness. I watch it all. If
it's a
Witness
great
is
film.
on, I'll just freaking watch Witness because it's great. Anyway.
Yeah, awesome film. We'll build a barn one day.
Not just for Kelly McGillis's nipples. Not just for that. Those are great. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just
you wouldn't
saying.
stand a chance anymore now, Brian.
No.
Scott, you wouldn't stand a chance.
No, for me, it's more about.
Yeah.
It's
With
more
Kelly
about
McGillis's nipples,
Other
you mean, or what?
that movie's all about the Amish guy who was in Die Hard as one of the
Yeah,
terrorists. That guy's great. Anyway,
John.
Yeah, it's very intense.
yeah, I like him.
Okay, all right. So, Brian, this is now to you.
Okay.
Apart from a Lifetime Achievement Oscar, what film has Robert Redford won an Oscar for?
Oh, I think it was Out of Africa. Just trying to think. Yeah, I'm gonna say Out of Africa.
No, it wasn't. Scott?
Oh, shoot.
Don't always think actor.
Can you
sure.
can you repeat the question? I want to make sure I didn't mishear a piece
Sure.
of it.
Apart from a Lifetime Achievement Oscar, what film has Robert Redford won an Oscar for?
The Verdict.
No.
Damn it! What was it?
Ordinary People, 1980, director.
Director. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Frick.
Yep.
Should have thought of that.
Okay.
He's a better director
All
than
right.
Oh,
No,
boy.
trust me, they're not all that hard. I started off hard
Goodness.
and then.
All right.
All right. Okay. All right. So, Scott, in the Blues Brothers, what famous director makes a cameo at the end?
Famous director. Oh man, at the time it would have been somebody like
He's still pretty famous.
Martin Scorsese.
No, Brian.
Oh, really? That's not him. Oh, that would have been my guess.
He's the county assessor right at the end.
Oh, okay. Is it Spielberg?
Bingo. Thank
Oh.
you. Yes.
Nicely done,
Steven
Brian.
Spielberg.
Damn. I
If
wouldn't
you
have
would
thought.
ask me first, I absolutely would have said Scorsese because I associate him with, New York City, Chicago.
That whole
kind of
era, even when the
Yeah.
film
I know it
was
was a bit
made.
tricky, and that's why I said the end because also Frank Oz is in the movie earlier on. So that
Oh.
I made sure to say at the end.
Gotcha.
Okay, so Brian, this is yours.
All right.
What alias does Ferris Bueller use to get into Shea Quay restaurant?
Why, he uses Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago's alias.
Yes.
Damn it! I knew that one.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Good job, Brian.
All right. So TB Travis, you're keeping score, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah, Scott 0, Brian higher than me. That's where we're at. Okay.
All right, Scott. Which of these films does not feature a Kenny Loggins song? And I will give you the list.
Okay.
Caddyshack, Footloose, Beverly Hills Cop, or Top Gun.
Beverly Hills Cop does not include one.
That's exactly right.
Correct.
Okay.
Well done. Yep, Caddyshack has I'm All Right. Footloose has Footloose. Top Gun has 2, Danger Zone and Playing with the Boys.
Oh, Footloose has 2 also. Footloose has the title track, but also Heaven Helps the Man. What is it
Oh,
called?
Heaven. Yeah,
Heaven
right.
helps the man. who finds
Oh, that's a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Is that called I'm Free? What is it called?
Brian, shaming
Yeah.
me.
Nobody can dance in this town of ours.
It's the
That's a good
dancing
song.
in the dancing in the corn granary.
Heaven help them. There
There we go.
Yep.
Singing voice on Gidget.
Yeah. It's actually a flour mill, and you can go buy flour there still, and it's good.
Is it a flour mill? Okay.
Yeah, it's called the Lehigh Roller Mills, and it's about 20 minutes from me. And at the time when they filmed it, there's this shot of him and who's the dad?
John Lithgow.
John Lithgow
John
are out
Lithgow.
on the turnpike there, but near the highway.
Yeah.
Where he's standing, it looks like just nothing but fields and stuff behind him because it was then, but now it is just hundreds of miles of development, stores and shopping and malls and houses. It's like
and
all
little
changed.
ticky-tacky boxes
Yeah.
and Diane
Did
Weiss
they at
was
least
the
have a
mom.
Kevin Bacon statue? Because like they have a Milwaukee, like they have a statue of the Fonz in Milwaukee. They should have a statue of Kevin Bacon like dancing.
I agree. They have
in that shed when he's doing the like whole tantrum thing in front of his V-dub.
I have been in that place where he did all that stuff, and they don't play it up at all. Like RoboCop in Detroit, they've got a statue for him. Like they should do
Rocky.
something for Footloose in Lehigh, and they don't do it. I don't know. I don't know why they don't.
I think they've got a statue of Jackson Brown on a corner in Winslow, Arizona, because of Take It Easy. So
See?
they need to have all these things in there.
I agree. It's stupid. They don't play it up at all.
All right, we're starting a petition for
All right.
a Kevin
That's right.
Bacon statue in that area.
Let's do it.
That's right.
Okay, so I think we're to Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Arnold, known for his one-liners, utters "Dick around" in what 80s movie?
Oh shoot! Stick around. Yes. Okay. So let's see here.
Jeez.
It could be any of them.
It really could.
I don't think it's one of the Terminator movies. Oh, or could it be Terminator 2? No, I don't think it is. Like he pins somebody to the wall and he says stick around, like pins him with a nail gun or something. You know what? I think it's Running Man. I'm going to say Running Man.
Okay, no, it's not. Scott.
Ah, shoot.
Commando?
No, it's Predator.
Damn it, I almost
1987.
said
It's not-
Predator. I almost did.
Oh.
This is intense.
Stick around.
Yes.
Around. Exactly. Okay, so Scott,
Yeah.
name one way the Spinal Tap drummers have died.
Oh, man.
There's 3.
I don't remember this.
Got this.
It's been forever, dude. I haven't seen Spinal Tap since like high school. Oh my gosh, I don't know this. Let me guess then, I guess. I don't know. Someone died of burning. Someone burned to death.
Ooh. You going to take that?
I can't take that.
Oh,
really?
I was just guessing.
Brian,
Was that close?
go on.
All
All right, one of them died in a spontaneously combust and left a little green globule
Correct.
on the seat. Another one died in a bizarre gardening accident. And I can't remember how the third one died.
A bizarre gardening accident and choking on someone else's vomit.
Choking on someone else's vomit. That's right. I think that was the Ed Begley drummer. Was the choking on somebody else's vomit. The official death certificate said choked on vomit, and it wasn't clear whether it was his vomit or somebody else's.
This is just a good reminder for me to watch that again. But also, spontaneous combustion is kind of like burning, right?
It is kind of like burning. Yeah.
Bonus points.
Yeah, it was. That's what I said. It was close, but
Close,
it
yeah.
it had to be specific.
We were looking for the word spontaneous.
Yeah, just someone just blowing up on the street. It's just crazy.
Okay.
Okay, number 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so who's this going to now?
That's back to me.
Yeah, back to Brian.
All right, Brian.
Yeah.
This is really tough, and I've asked this in one of our podcasts, and people found this a real struggle. So sorry.
God. Okay.
What was the cinema movie debut of Bill Pullman?
Bill Pullman. Okay.
Not Paxton. Pullman.
Pullman. Yes. Oh God. Yes. Right. So I can't say aliens or anything like that because that was Paxton.
Yeah, that would be Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
Correct.
Bill Pullman's cinema
It was a
debut.
comedy.
Yeah, oh, that's helpful. I actually may know this now. I think I know it. Because I saw this movie a lot. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get one.
I think I'm giving the steal to Scott because I cannot think of it. I know he was, wasn't he the guy that was cheating with, was it Married to the Mob? Where he was cheating with Michelle Pfeiffer? No, that was somebody else.
Is that your answer?
Yeah, Married to the Mob's my answer.
Okay, no, go for it, Scott.
The correct answer would be Ruthless People. Ruthless People.
Bingo.
Well done.
Now, I only know
Bingo,
this
yep.
because my mom loved that movie. Anything actually with, what's his name in
Judge
it?
Reinhold.
Yes. Wait, was Judge Reinhold in that?
Judge Reinhold was in that, yeah. And Danny DeVito.
Danny
and
DeVito,
Bette
for
It's a
sure.
great
Midler.
movie.
Right,
Yeah,
anyway.
it's a great movie.
It's
and-
pretty
and-
good. But my
They
wife,
kidnap Bette Midler, and then they try to give her back, and Danny DeVito won't take her back.
Right, that's it. My mom watched that incessantly, and I remember Bill Pullman being in it, and I remember it being weird because my first Bill Pullman movie I'd seen was one he did later, which was Spaceballs. But because I saw him in Spaceballs, then I saw him in this and went, ooh, weird, that guy from Spaceballs is in this, and that's how I remember it. Bing!
Yeah.
Give me a
And he
point.
forgot
plays a
about
wonderful
Spaceballs.
moron. Well done.
All right,
Yes,
well
you got
done.
that. 1986, he played Elmont.
Right.
Okay, number 9 for you, Scott. All right, this might be an easy one for you. Who directed the 1987 movie RoboCop?
Oh, Paul Verhoeven.
Correct.
Yeah!
Well
Coming
done.
back, baby.
Tied up, I think. I think things are tied up.
Woo!
Are you guys not putting me up because I've got like makeup on and stuff?
No. Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting. I have to switch you. Sorry. Here you go. There she is.
Oh, I just want to say hello to the.
I had you up
everyone.
earlier, and then I forgot to. I
Hey.
got so into the competition, I forgot to put you back up. All right, go ahead.
I put lipstick on. God damn it!
I got dolled up for this.
Yeah. We did go out for dinner, so the hair and everything else was done, but I did put lipstick on.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so all right. So the next question is number 10. What country is Tony Montana, Al Pacino, in the 1983 movie Scarface originally from?
What, and what?
Ooh.
Who's
In Scarface.
who's answering this? Me or Brian?
Tony.
I'm answering.
It's Brian.
this 'cause you
Okay.
stole.
Wait.
Or no.
No, it'd be
you
my
knew-
turn.
You knew Verhoeven.
Oh, right. You're right.
Yeah.
Verhoeven.
I knew-
Verhoeven.
I knew Verhoeven.
Verhoeven. I want to say Colombia. Oh no, is he Puerto Rican? I think he's Puerto Rican. That's gonna be my answer.
Scott, you want to have another go?
Ah, dang it.
He is from Cuba.
Oh, he's
Correct.
Italian.
Oh.
Oh, it is
Yes.
Cuba. Dang
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just
Said
remember. I
Cuban
remember
and
the
discounted it.
really good Havana stuff before he left, which is
Yeah.
some of my
Go,
favorite.
go with your instincts, Brian.
Oh, I should have. I totally should have.
All right.
Okay. All right. This is a tricky one, and this one really surprised me, actually. This is how many Police Academy movies were there in the 80s?
Oh wow.
How many
Now, are you
were
counting
there?
only theatrical? I know this is a question for Scott, so I probably shouldn't be clarifying it for him. But theatrical releases,
Movie
or
release.
direct Video. Okay. All right.
Oh, no, you've thrown me now because maybe some of them were direct. Oh, look, I know in the 80s all of these were released at the cinema.
Theaters. Yeah, I think
Yep.
that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And some of them were like PG, weirdly. Some were R. It was a very odd thing. All right. I was a big fan of the Police Academy movies for no good reason.
They're fun.
Yeah, they're fun, I guess. I'm gonna say five. Five?
Brian?
Ah!
I'm thinking it's one more. I'm thinking 6.
Correct.
Ah! Damn it!
Correct.
Ah,
Did
Yep,
you forget
6.
Mission to Moscow, Scott?
probably. Those were
There's
bad.
another at the beach, and I'm amazing they didn't put it on the moon.
I mean, 3 of them
Yeah.
didn't even have what's his name in him. He was gone by then.
No, only the first 2 I think had Gutenberg, but I think I want to say that Tackleberry was in all of them. He was the Eugene Levy of that series.
Oh yeah, Tackleberry
Yeah.
still working.
Yeah.
He's like on weird Nickelodeon stuff now. That guy still.
I think
works.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Good
Yeah,
job.
big time. It was a bit like the Revenge of the Nerd movies, and
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards was really smart to like just bow out after the first one, and then all the rest of the gang just kept on going.
right. Exactly.
But hey, it's
yes.
work.
Yep.
It's work. You can't complain.
That's
All
work if
right.
you can get it. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's Brian.
Brian, yep.
It's me. Yeah.
Okay, what are the character names of the 5 students on detention in the Breakfast Club?
Oh, come
Okay.
on,
Night-
man.
All right.
Just first
Okay.
names are fine.
All right. Well, there's John Bender is Judd. Brian, I can't remember his last name. Anthony Muckaholby, but you only need first names. Claire is Molly Ringwald.
Ooh.
Boy, and if I don't get all these, then he's gonna steal. Emilio Estevez's character name is. All right, so we got Emilio Estevez and Ali Sheedy are the 2 I haven't come up with yet. Her name. The basket case is
Just a dandruff thing.
Yeah,
yes,
dandruff.
exactly, and the
That doesn't help.
the Captain Crunch sandwich.
Yeah, Captain Crunch
Yeah.
thing. He's so gross in
Oh
that
my
movie.
God. Let's see. Her character name is.
I know it.
Do you really
I
know
think
these?
I know hers, but I'm not 100% sure on the Estevez one.
On Emilio Estevez's?
Yeah.
Yeah. I should have not said any of them until I knew all 5 of them for the steal. Is it Missy? It's not Missy. He just calls her Missy once.
Oh.
I'm drawing a blank and I don't want to give Scott any help. All right, what's Ali
Scott, are you
Sheedy's, Scott?
slapping because you know?
Ali Sheedy is Allison.
Yes.
So
That's
she,
right,
and I remember that because it was short for her name,
Close for Ali.
or long for her name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think Emilio Estevez. I'm really torn between 2 names, but I'm just gonna say the one I think it is. Please be it. Emilio Estevez is Andrew.
Yes.
Oh,
Andy. Right, Andy. Well
I think this
done.
needs to, I don't know about the chat room, but I think this needs to be split points.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
'Cause
I think this needs to be split points because
Did you
Brian
have-
named 3, you named 2. I think this needs to be a 1 point each.
Well, for
Did
the
you
record,
have John, Claire, and Brian?
yeah, I knew the rest of them, but
Yeah.
it's impossible for me to say that without any proof because Brian already said them, so I guess I can't prove it.
So what was the name of the principal, just for a bonus?
Vernon.
Oh, Vernon, yeah. You know what you
Yeah.
can do?
Vernon.
You could.
Jack
I have no problem with that one getting split. I think that's fair because
I think so too, because you both named a few, and yeah, that was a tricky one.
all right.
All right, so splitting it, I think it's Scott.
Yeah, my turn. I think. Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jennifer Aniston made her film debut in which 80s sci-fi movie? And I've got options.
Oh, really?
Explorers?
I'm gonna know this. Okay, go ahead.
Explorers, Mac and Me, Flight of the Navigator, or The Last Starfighter?
Oh shit! The one I thought it was isn't in your list.
You're looking for Leprechaun, weren't you, Scott?
Yeah, I was.
Wasn't the first movie. This was uncredited, by the way.
yeah.
It was uncredited. They've all got to start somewhere.
I have a guess, but
Oh, hold on.
Scott obviously goes first.
Give me the list one more time.
Okay, Explorers,
No.
Mac and Me, Flight of the Navigator, or The Last Starfighter?
I'm gonna say Mac and Me.
You are exactly right.
That would have been my guess. Good. Yeah.
Total guess, but it felt right. Okay.
You're exactly right. Okay, Brian.
Yes.
Which 80s movie was the highest grossing film of the entire decade?
Ooh.
Whoa.
God, feels like Return of the Jedi would be the. Would that be the obvious answer? That was so. I mean, that was 83. That was early. Maybe one of the Indiana Jones movies.
That's a lot harder a question than it seems like.
It is, yeah, exactly.
Chat room are giving answers.
We're not looking at
right.
it.
So if you can see my screen, right there is the chat room. I don't make eye contact with the chat room during these things. This is my outside.
I'm guilty of
Yeah.
it. When you guys do the quizzes, I am guilty of trying to give answers. So take credit, but this is my thing, chat room. So stop helping.
I have no.
Yeah,
I've
let's see.
chat rooms are like not even up for me. I don't see them.
I'm just trying to think of what else. Like when you see those lists of highest grossing movies of all time, I'm trying to think of which one of those might be from the 80s.
It actually held it until Jurassic Park in 1993.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeez. I'm gonna say Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I don't think that's right, but
No, Scott.
no.
I guess I can't ask you when a certain movie came out.
You can. Neither of you have thought to even ask me for a clue. I will give a clue.
No.
No, don't give a clue. I'm gonna
Okay.
just guess that it's. I still think it's a Spielberg joint because his movies were top grossing for the year or for those years.
Yep. Feels like a safe bet. Yep.
I mean, I'll bet Indiana Jones or one of those is close. But I'm gonna say the one that was the broader appeal, probably E.T. was the one.
Correct.
Oh, that's
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, good guess.
Yeah.
James.
It actually surpassed Star Wars. Star Wars held it for a while, and then ET came along, held it for 11 years until Jurassic Park in 1993.
Well done.
Wait,
Fun home.
where was Indiana Jones on this list, or was it on the list?
These were the tops.
Okay.
So I can look into it more for next time.
No,
but
it's totally
yeah,
fine.
these were the tops.
Yeah,
So
I'd be
it
curious to
surprised me
see.
too.
Yeah.
My memory is
I'm
that Back to the
I like the movie. I don't love it.
I
so.
almost said Back to the Future. This close. Just about said it. I'm sure it's on the
That
list.
wouldn't have been a bad answer either, because Back to the Future was huge.
It did really well, yeah.
That's got to be top
Yeah.
15 or lower. I don't know. All right.
All right, here's a tricky one, and this is such a girly one because I'm a girl. All right, so who's got a?
It's Scott. If it's an odd number, it goes to Scott. If it's even, it goes to me.
There we go. Easy to sort out. All right, Scott, name 2 80s movies actress, dancer, and singer Cynthia Rhodes was in the 80s.
Cynthia Rose? I don't know.
Rhodes.
Rhodes? I don't know who this is.
I've got one for sure.
Rhodes.
I can't think of what it is, but can I just say one, or I have to say how many?
I said 2,
Okay.
but if you can name one and then Brian can name the other, I'll give you both a point.
All right, I'll just make 2 guesses, because since she's a dancer, Dirty Dancing?
That's one.
Really? Am I
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
guessing here?
she's Patrick
Penny
Swayze's
Johnson.
pregnant girlfriend.
Friend.
Okay,
Yeah.
so all right.
Or pregnant friend.
Yeah,
Yes.
because then for some reason he fancied Jennifer. What's her face?
Jennifer-
It's like,
Jennifer
well, that
Grey.
doesn't work.
Gray, yeah.
Yeah.
Jennifer knows job.
Shoot.
All right, hold on. Well, now I'm thinking of other dance movies. Flashdance.
Correct.
Really?
Oh, well
Shut
done.
up, dude.
Well,
Yes. It was Xanadu, Flashdance, Staying Alive, Runaway, and Dirty Dancing.
Oh, that's
Wow.
awesome. I don't even know who she
Scott-
is, you guys. I just guessed dance movies. That's it.
Look her up. She's amazing. She's an amazing dancer. She should
Yeah.
have made a lot more movies, but she was actually married to Richard Marx.
Whoa,
you go.
everything I do.
Did
No,
she-
different guy.
no, that's Brian
Yeah.
Adams.
Yeah.
Did she hold on to the Knights?
Oh, that's it. Hold on to the nights.
No, Richard Marx was the mullet. I
Right
love
here
Richard.
waiting, and yeah, right.
Yeah,
Hold
yeah,
on
Yeah.
to the night. That's totally him, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Brian's
So
right.
16.
Okay.
All right, the movie quote. Oh, this
Okay.
is so easy, Brian. If you don't get this, I
Good. Well, I need an easy one
Yeah.
after.
Yeah. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Oh, that would be uttered by Bill Murray and at the end of Ghostbusters.
Oh,
Correct.
Yeah. Good job.
Correct.
Good job.
All right, Scott.
Yeah.
In the Goonies, what brand of candy bar did Chunk try and give Sloth?
Oh, shoot. Milky Way?
You have Milky Ways over there?
Yeah,
We do, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love them.
Oh,
that's
okay.
not right.
I thought we only had them. No, it's not.
That's not.
Damn it.
Baby Ruth.
Oh,
Yes.
oh shit,
Yes.
dude.
Brian gets it.
Why did I forget that? Oh,
Well done.
you know-
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, need to stage a comeback here. I need a rally.
Hey, don't call it a comeback. You've been here for years. Every time
All right,
we get
Brian.
to invoke that.
Yeah.
In the movie Rain Man, what was the only airline Raymond says has never crashed? At the time.
Qantas, and that was the only airline that would show Rain Man on during a flight. Was Qantas.
Correct. Yeah. No other airline would play it, and yeah,
Right,
and they have had a bit of a prang since then, by the way. So that
Yeah.
was at the time. All right, Scott,
All right.
who plays the dad in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Oh, Rick Moranis.
Come on.
Yes,
Of course. Come
Wayne
on.
Selinsky. Wayne Selinsky. I was only watching it last night. Great movie. Really good.
You would have had
Okay,
me if you would have
final
said what was
question.
his if you'd have said what his name was. I'd have never gotten Wayne Selinsky. That
Character
would-
name,
I would
yeah.
never
That's
gotten
why I
that.
didn't.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't. I'm going soft. I'm going soft
All right.
first round.
All right.
Okay, so final question for Brian.
That's what she said.
This is a toughie. What 2 Muppet movies were released in the decade of the 80s?
Ooh,
And there was only
okay.
2.
There were only 2. All right. Well, the Muppet movie, obviously.
Nope.
And
Nope.
oh, was that 79? Shoot. Okay. Well, I'm not going to say the other ones then.
All right.
Yep,
Dang.
it's over to you, Scott.
Muppets Take
Damn.
Manhattan is one of them,
Yeah.
and the other one would be let's see, Muppet Takes Manhattan. Oh, The Great Muppet Caper.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Woo!
Well done.
Yeah, because the original Muppet movie was
Well
like
done.
77 or 78.
You guys
or...
Was
did
it? I
great.
yeah, it just jumped right to like, oh well, okay. So obviously the first one had to be.
I love the Muppet movie, but yeah, it's 79.
Totally was in the 70s.
Yeah, and then I think Christmas Carol was like 1992.
Nice.
So that was the only 2 Muppet movies. But we have podcasts, The Great Muppet Caper. That was a hoot.
That's a great
So
movie.
that's it. That's it, boys.
I
You
did.
really
Wow,
Yay!
well done, Scott.
I feel pretty good. What was the final score? I wasn't really paying attention to the score.
10
TV
to
Travis was keeping score.
Yeah.
10 to 8.
10 to 8. Ooh, that's close. That's close.
Oh,
That wasn't a
close.
blowout or anything.
No.
That was awesome, Gidget. We should do that again.
Rick Moranis, come on now. Who starred in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Name one of the kids, Scott.
I couldn't do any of those kids or the mother.
The ant.
Yeah.
There you go. The ant in the backyard.
I couldn't do the kids. I couldn't do the mother. Like all of that is so jacked up in my head. I can't believe I even. I mean, I'm really glad it was Rick
really
Moranis.
well. You both did really, really well, and that's the great thing. We're all of the same age, basically. So we grew up with these as teenagers, these movies.
Yeah.
So it's just what you can remember. And the one that shocked me the most was the biggest, like at the ET one.
Mm-hmm.
That shocked me the most when I looked that up.
But
Because
you know what? Now that you say it, like if you were to give me 4 choices and ET was one of them, I would have definitely gone for ET just because it was a juggernaut. It was like such a multi visit to the theater kind of thing.
It was the I don't know. It was like the Avatar of the '80s. It was like this thing that just
It really was.
appealed to everybody.
People would go back and see it several times and that sort of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, in
But I
retrospect.
completely
just
forgot
did
about
our-
ET.
Yeah.
We just did our we just released our podcast of our top 10 non-human characters from 80s movies.
Mm-hmm.
And my partner Angry Man said E.T. and I'd only just remembered you'd never seen it. They didn't show it in the posters. They didn't show, there was no trailers showing it. It just showed like the finger reaching down and picking up, the candy. You didn't see it, so there was no spoilers for it. So when you went to the movies, it just blew your mind.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you
Yeah,
finally
and I don't
saw
even
the
think
actual...
you see him until like half an hour into the film or 45 minutes or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's keeping that mystery. It's the same with Predator. It's the same with so many of those movies in the 80s. They really keep it as a secret, and they don't just go straight out of the gate and go, there's the creature.
Yeah.
You know it.
That's why the original Aliens was so good, or Alien was so good, because they didn't show them for forever,
God,
and it
yeah.
just let it up perfectly. But then Aliens did a good job of like never showing them too much. Like it was always a lot of shadow and quick movement, and like I love that kind of thing if it's done
that
right.
first Alien movie in the 70s, Ridley Scott one, just with Ash in the vents, and all of a sudden they're like, she's staying up in the top there, get out of there, it's above you, and he's like, I can't see it, so he goes up, and then it's just there, and it just spreads its
and it folds out of the thing, comes out of the deal.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
That thing just had its 40th anniversary, didn't it? The first Alien movie? Wasn't
really?
it like
I think
in
so.
April or May or something like that? I saw that with we saw that at the Century 21 Theater, no relation to the real estate company, but it's this massive theater in Colorado. It's not around. Actually, it's around. It's been turned into a multiplex or something. But our friend Beverly hid under the seat for about the last 2/3 of the movie.
That's awesome.
My mom's friend Beverly.
We were
I did that with Poltergeist. Poltergeist, I did that, and that damn, clown toy.
Stupid clown. Yes.
I was 12.
yeah.
I was 12 when my nana took us to see it, and my nana thought that it was a kids' movie because there was a child on the poster, and she was more messed up than my brother and I. So,
Wow.
the old days.
That's just what's wrong with the Greatest Generation. They didn't know how to pick movies. Hey, but here's the other thing I was going to say. Brian, we had a Century 16, and it was the same thing, except smaller probably. I assume it had less, with the number being smaller, probably less theater or space.
Well, the Century 21 only had one theater. It wasn't 21. It wasn't a 21 theater multiplex. It was just called the Century 21, like the 21st
maybe that's
century.
all ours was too then. Or maybe it had 2 or 3 or something. I don't remember, but they
I'm
also
guessing
went
the
away.
Century 16 had 16 theaters because you wouldn't want to advertise a theater being, this theater has got the latest 16th century innovations.
The latest in 16th century kind. You'll leave with the plague.
That's right, exactly.
All right, now before we go, we would be remiss if we didn't make sure that Gidget got to tell everyone about this podcast you keep referring to, where you guys talk about 80s movies all the time. Where can people get it? What is it? Tell us about it.
It's the Retro Cinema Podcast. I host it with Angry Man, and we only podcast the 80s movies we loved back then because we're both that age, and we still love now. So we've done just over 200 podcasts now, but everyone spells my name wrong. So it's Gidget, Gidgit, not ET, because I'm not contemporary.
No. You don't adhere to it.
You're also not the biggest selling movie of the 80s.
Right.
No, exactly.
You don't adhere to the rules that man has for you. But it's been good to have you here, and we should do this again because I really enjoyed it. Not just because I won. That's not the only reason.
You guys did so well. Honestly, I was really worried, and I'm thinking, am I pushing it too hard? But honestly, both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
brilliant job.
We love 80s
Brilliant
movies.
job.
What can
Loved
we tell
it.
you? Yeah. We came of age, Brian,
All right,
during this
might
time.
have to make them harder next week.
Oh, God.
Whoa. Capture that
No,
one.
I
out.
won't, I promise.
Thanks,
I
Jamie.
promise I won't.
Well, have a fantastic time. Maybe we'll do this next month, and we'll test our steel once again with Gidget Von LaRue. Take it easy. We'll talk to you later. All right.
Very good. That was fun.
Yeah, it was
good
fun.
job, too.
Thanks.
Well done, sir.
I don't usually win these, so I'm pretty happy with myself. Especially with you. You're like genius quiz man, and I'm not.
Yeah, but we both got some tough ones, and I batted cleanup on a couple of years, but man, there were some tough ones in there.
Yeah, some toughies, as you'd say.
Some toughies.
All right, let's get a couple stories in here. I think we can do it.
Yeah.
So here's this, and then here you go.
This is your radio newscaster with another exclusive, sensational summary of world and local events.
Hey, it's the news, brought to you by...
Hey kids, do you like Dungeons and Dragons? Well, so do we. Check out therewillbedungeons.com and get the podcast or VOD today.
Yeah, we're having a good time on there. People should check it out. You haven't seen it or heard it, you are missing out. So go watch it.
You need to check it out for sure.
I agree. All right, let's move into the world of... actually, I'm going to do an Australian story. How about that? Check this out.
Okay.
Gidget, you left us, but we still have an Australian story. Australian gender reveal party goes wrong as the car bursts into flames. I hate these gender reveal parties.
I'm so tired of the whole gender reveal thing because obviously there are several that go right, but you only ever hear about the ones that go horribly wrong.
Right.
Like, man shoots his hand off with blue bullet after during gender reveal party or something like that.
Basically, because they keep trying to outdo each other.
Yes.
It gets worse and worse and worse, and someone's going to freaking die. They need to knock it off. Mm-hmm. So here's a good example of that. This happened on the Gold Coast of Australia. Took a dramatic turn as the car was used to spew blue smoke to say it was a boy. It ignited suddenly. Caught on fire. Queensland Police Service released footage of the incident, which took place on April 18th, to warn about the dangers of burnouts, an increasingly popular feature among gender reveal parties in Australia specifically. We could ask Gidget about this. On several occasions over the past year, gender reveal burnouts in which cars emit billowing clouds of blue or pink smoke have resulted in flaming vehicles and arrests. In the latest drone video released by police, the big reveal initially goes as planned, with celebrating guests filming as the car goes down the road, engulfed in blue smoke. After it comes to a stop, however, the car bursts into flames and the driver and the guests are forced to abandon the car. Abort! And they ran. Right. Oh, I shouldn't say abort when they got a baby reveal.
Oh, yeah, maybe don't say that. Eject.
Eject. Sorry, everybody. Bad use of term phrasing. It says a 29-year-old man was convicted of dangerous operation of a motor vehicle. These aren't isolated.
Yeah, he had his license suspended, which is great. Like 6 months he can't drive a car now because of this stupid crap.
They should ban him from all blue smoke. All colored smoke. No colored
all
smoke
colored
for that guy.
Smoke.
Yeah. He can't have any colored smoke. Let's see. Skip down here. In September last year, another couple pled guilty to misdemeanor violation of a U.S. Forest Service regulation that was here in the States. And 5 years probation, had to pay is that correct? Those numbers can't be right. $8 million in restitution.
$8 million. Well, yeah, I mean, if it was Forest Service, I wonder if it was like a yeah, there it is. He sparked a wildfire that burned almost 47,000 acres of land, caused more than $8 million in damage.
My gosh, dude. Can you imagine that?
Yes, he shot a target. So this is a different guy. This is Dennis Dickey, who shot a target reading boy, which he had packed with the highly explosive substance tannerite. They should name the boy Tanner. It'd be really funny. The target emitted a blue cloud of smoke, but also ignited the surrounding brush and caused $8 million in fire damage.
Here's what I imagine. This is my dinner time imagine of what's happened to that house. Daddy? Yes, Tanner. How come we never have any money? That's my impression.
That's right, exactly. Do we have to go into the forest again and forage for food?
What's happening, Daddy? Oh, Tanner, it's okay. Now don't touch Daddy's ankle bracelet. Everything will be fine.
That's right.
Anyway, good luck to them, and I hope that works out. Also, in the news, a grandfather. I'm one of those now. Still coming to terms with it. You know what? I just don't like the name. Because the kid's great. He's awesome. I want to spend all day with him.
Sure.
He's amazing. I don't have any
You just
qualms.
don't like the name. You just don't like being called grandpa.
Because it has a connotation. It's like old guy thing. I don't want to be any older than I am. Damn it. Anyway, whatever. Like Brian always says.
Bet you a lot of people called you grandpa on the road before Van came along.
Maybe.
That there was a lot of people in a car right behind you. Come on, grandpa, pick it up.
Could have. That's a good point. Here's the thing, though. I always have a little voice in my head that sounds like you that goes, "It's just a number, Scott. It's just a number,
Scott." Yep.
But then it feels like ASMR and it makes me tingle, so I have to stop listening.
It makes you feel funny.
Yeah, I feel a little funny. Anyway, this grandfather accidentally brought cannabis-laced cake to a hospital as thank yous for the nurses there. Yep. Nice. This dude's in the UK. It's all international today. Guys in the UK accidentally brought this cake. The incident happened on May 27th, according to the Warrington and Halton Hospitals NHS Foundation Trust, which is way too long of a name, which conducted an internal investigation into the incident. In a statement, the trust said staff noticed a strange smell coming from the cake and called the police, who removed and later destroyed it. Dude, we totally
There's a
destroyed it.
strange smell coming from this cake.
I don't know what to compare it to, but something's weird and off.
Yeah.
When they say they destroyed it, I think that's like stoner talk for, dude, we totally destroyed it.
We burned it in the back.
Yeah. Ate the whole thing, man. Grandfather showed up earlier in the day with a leftover cake from his grandson's 18th birthday, brought it to the nursing staff on the way out of there, so it's this 18-year-old kid's cake. At first, management of the hospital denied that anyone ate the cake, but police confirmed it was eaten on the premises. Management as well as the Foundation Trust stated that one staff member had eaten a piece of cake and didn't suffer any ill effects from it, so it's fine. But don't,
Well, it's great because it was like leftover cake from his grandson's 18th birthday party. That's the part that we didn't even talk more about. The fact that his grandson had a weed cake for his 18th birthday party.
Yeah, that's hardcore, man.
Best birthday ever, Gramps.
Is weed, so we have these states like your state where it's legal now. Can they do that? Is the UK gone on that boat, or are they still?
Oh, I don't know.
Weed?
That's a good. Let's see. Recreational marijuana countries, because that's funny. We think about it here in the U.S. So obviously, Canada just became the second largest country in the world to legalize weed nationwide. Uruguay was the first.
Oh, okay. I heard about Canada, but I assumed that they were in a long line of places. So it looks like
looks like this was end of 2018. Here we go. Uruguay, Peru, possession isn't punished. Spain, you can grow it and consume it privately. Illegal in the Netherlands. You can carry it, but you're not allowed to smoke it.
Yeah. Wait, what's that from?
That's Pulp Fiction.
Oh yeah, I just heard that because Nick watched Pulp Fiction, and I heard the line out of his computer the other day.
Right. South Africa. Oh, Cat, you're dipping your tail into my coffee.
Gross.
That. No kidding.
Gross.
Cat tail coffee.
Yeah.
It didn't actually make contact with the liquid. It just went down the cup.
Sure.
Best part of waking up is your cat's tail in your cup. And then South Africa, you can have it. You can again have it privately, but not publicly. So.
All right.
But not in the UK. Nothing listed for the UK.
Yeah, I guess I'm slightly surprised by that.
I am too. I wonder if again, Zoe Brings Bacon can probably speak to this, but is medical marijuana legal in the UK, or is it?
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Because they do have they have looser restrictions on other kinds of stuff that we categorize as, way more hardcore over here. So I assume that they would be a little more open to it. But
yeah, interesting.
They say it's UK is as draconian as we are. Really, Sidian, really.
Wow, jeez.
Sidian just
Sidian really is leaning into the new free hotel room.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah,
he's in a free hotel room probably. He's so
like,
into it.
Slightly more expensive hotel room is basically what Sidian's new handle should be.
He's at a Days Inn.
That's right.
Is that a slightly more expensive hotel room? I don't actually know.
It's a slightly more expensive hotel room. So we've had Inara made her appearance. Now Remus is going to make his appearance.
Great. Let's hear. This is for Remus.
I was on my 3rd cup.
Good. Put your tail in it.
Yeah. He's not getting into my coffee.
Yeah. I tried to find a good coffee thing. I can't. Let's see.
Harvey, want anything special for your birthday?
Just a decent cup of coffee.
You're kidding.
I'm serious. Honey, your coffee's undrinkable.
Well, that guy's kind of a dick.
He almost said your coffee's shit. He caught himself right there. Your coffee is...
Yeah. That pregnant pause says everything.
Your coffee's undrinkable.
Undrinkable. Oh, that was great. All right, we are going to take a break, and when we come back, Wendy Dunford will be here. We're going to have a discussion about an email we got. We're going to see if we can help some people with our Therapy Thursday segment on Der Show, so that'll happen here shortly. Before that, though, a musical selection from the house. What has Brian Ibbett in it? Brian, what is it?
Yes, another one that you're going to be waiting a while for, so you're going to get a nice little taste here of something that you can just anticipate when it comes out. A band called Stolen Jars. They have a brand new LP coming out, an album coming out September 6th. That's a long-playing record, Scott, that old LP. Mm-hmm. This is a follow-up to their sophomore album, Kept, which The Village Voice loved, Stereo Gum loved, NPR Music. This one is continuing their same the same style. It reminds me a lot of Vampire Weekend. If you like Vampire Weekend, you'll probably like this. By the way, they also are composers for movies. They did The Rewrite back in 2014, Hard Sell in 2016, and Disney's forthcoming Christmas movie, Noel, also had music done by Stolen Jars. This is their debut single from the album. It is called Winona. Here are Stolen Jars and Winona.
We'll be right back.
Shinji Ikari.
Yes?
You will be its pilot.
Huh?
My dinner. I'm gonna eat it now. I gotta go. Okay, bye.
Now, it's here. A new force at breakfast. This is the Morning Stream.
We're back, everybody. Welcome back to the program, to the podcast, to the live stream. Oh, look, see the cat. Oh my gosh, you're getting infested, dude. These cats are everywhere.
I know. It's like, oh, well done. Knock everything off my desk. Wow. Yeah, I'm like the old guy at the end of Logan's Run all of a sudden here. They're my friends. I talk to them.
I love that guy. That was
Peter Ustinov.
Peter Ustinov, yeah. Well done. So you would have got that trivia question before me.
I would have. Mm-hmm. I know. Come on.
I had it. Gidget Von LaRue just threw me a softball and then gave you a couple of hard balls. What? Wait.
Mm-hmm.
All right. My sister, Wendy, should be here.
I am.
Oh, I hear her now. Hi, Wendy.
Why are you green behind you?
Oh, it's a green screen I have. Normally,
the other people can see Scott flying through space or on the frozen tundra or...
Oh, wow.
Whatever I want to have behind me, they can see that, but you guys have to watch me in front of it because it's just the way we are set up.
It looks like you have
a live feed from the local strip club going on behind Scott on the green screen.
That's right. Working the pole.
Great.
What'd you say, Wendy? It looks like what?
I said it looks like just a big old T-shirt you cut up behind you. That's what it looks like.
Oh, well, it's kind of that. I mean, it's just material. And it
just needs to be green, right?
It's just a huge chunk of it, and it's
all required.
It's all clamped down with these big giant nipple clips I got at the Home Depot.
Nipple clips.
I mean, they could be used for that, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think you could, not unless you've got Godzilla-sized nipples, though.
Well, look at these. I mean, that's it. and it's a pinchy little deal. I mean, I wouldn't recommend this. I'm not saying do it.
Yeah.
Like, it hurts on my finger. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Ow.
Hey, Wendy. It's nice to have you here. We're going to see you in like a month here at a little more than that, I guess, but here at the old haunts. You're going to be in Salt Lake for a big family reunion. Should be fun. And you guys are splitting up your time. Oh, I got to tell you something totally funny before we go on. Carter, the other night, we were talking about, Misha's sending out those texts with all the plans, and you were replying, and everybody's talking in this giant group text, right? And Kim and I are like, oh, okay, that's cool. What do they do? Oh, okay, that changed. All right. And we're just talking, and Carter goes, so what's the plan? And we explained to her some of the plans and what was going on. And she goes, is it bad that I just want to sit around with Elliot and draw all day while they're here?
Takes right after her dad.
Yep. Isn't that cute, though? She wants to draw with Elliot. That's so cute.
Let's do it. I think that's what they should do the whole day. That's great.
Yeah,
Let's do it. Everyone bring your books and pens.
Yeah, she really has. She has this thing for Elliot. I think she sees a kindred spirit in the boy, and so she wants to.
That's cute.
She wants to be a good cousin and hang out with him.
Is Elliot a budding artist?
Yeah, I should. He's also a budding trumpet player.
Really?
This week, so
push the art.
Let me just say this. So this week, Adam is up in. For those that are familiar with this region of the world, it's called the Boundary Waters. You can Google it. It is stunning. Holy cow. So he's up there with the Abe all week, and they, there's no cell phone coverage, nothing. It's the wildest place you can go and still be, a couple hours from civilization that I know of. Anyway, so they're up there, and this is the week Elliot starts trumpet lessons, and I am ready to die.
Oh, man. So you're saying he's starting them. He's not already like a auteur. He's just getting going. Oh, boy.
No. And I woke up thinking there is an elephant in the house because I forgot. And he just started practicing pretty early one morning. And wow. So if there's a trumpet player listening, what would be great? If you could just send me a quick email and tell me how long it takes to not sound like that, because I have no sense. I tried it. Like I blew on that. That's impossible. That's not even an instrument. You cannot make the sound unless I don't even get it. It's crazy.
You go. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Personal lips. Yeah.
Yes.
Here's
you basically blow raspberries and hope it sounds good. It's a nightmare.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
This will be him in no time. He'll sound like real music. It'll be coming out of him, and you'll just be like, "Whoa, he's like the next Fats Wallaby or some name like that." I can't think of.
Totally won't be. But here's the thing: I'd like him to transition all his artistry to pen and quiet paper. That would be great.
All right. Well, then Carter's got you covered. She wants to draw with the boy. So we're looking forward to actually seeing you guys. It'll be a lot of fun. And Wendy comes on Thursdays, as she often does. Although, so Kim's off to her girls' camp. You just finished yours. How was that? How'd it go? You were in charge of food as well, right?
Fun. I was in charge of food. I had to pick Kim's brain. Like, how does one feed all sorts of people and make them happy? Kim does that very naturally. I, on the other hand, did not cook a week before and have not cooked since, because it's been my year's supply of cooking. No, it was a lot of fun. We went to this place that looked, it looked just like Sweden. Oh my gosh. I see why everyone stopped here when they came, because anyway, it's up on the north shore of Lake Superior. It is so beautiful. Holy cow.
I'll bet. Did you get a bunch? You should get pictures. Nice. You get pictures?
I did, but I just am too tired and not recovered enough to post them. But I should. Yeah. I should. It's just beaches and rocky. They're agates, those cool stones. Mm-hmm. So they're all inside the ground everywhere. All the rocks, like you just look at a rock near you and it's full of them. It's crazy. So when anything sort of gets rubbed away or is run, the water hits the thing long enough, then you're just beaches full of these cool rocks. So that,
that sounds fantastic.
Lots of waterfalls, and it was stunning.
That sounds really good. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you made it. You survived, because now you can go back into like therapy mode and help people here on the show with their problems.
Give me a problem.
All right, here's a problem. Wendy sent me an email, and it is the problem of the week. So we're going to talk about it. We're just going to call this person a husband. Okay, that's going to be the name. That's literally what they signed it as. So
Alfred Husband.
Alfred Husband. Says this, Wendy, my wife and I are in our late 30s with 2 kids under 5. First, my wife does a lot for our kids and her job. Our kids are her primary focus. Our marriage has gone downhill, and the past year has been outright terrible. She focuses on divorce, and I focus on keeping her here and keeping our family together. I don't know what to do. He says, here is the history. Dating was great. We got married and moved in together. Soon became pregnant. That was planned, she says. The intimacy slowed down as expected. A couple of years later, we had our second, also anticipated. Affection, like cuddling, sex, hugs, all those things, just stopped. They halted. She has had a baby, so I waited a couple of months. Then she was breastfeeding, and I had touch overload, she did. So I waited the 14 months until that was completed. Then it was this reason and that reason, and was clear that she didn't want any intimacy at all. After 2 years of me begging her, we finally went to a couples counseling. Nearly too late. She has seen some therapists over the years, but seems to return to those who support her divorcing theory. Never heard of that, by the way, a divorcing theory. We are living in
her theory that they want a divorce.
Right. No, I get the idea. I understand the definition.
I mean, that's not like a science term or something.
It's not the Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah.
It's not like
I figured what it meant, but I just never heard it before. Anyway, we were living in a rundown place that seems to stem a lot of these issues. We saved and bought a huge $500,000 house a few months ago, that she was very much a part of. Now she seems like she has no say in any part of the house. I make 75% of our income, and I can't afford to get divorced now. That's a lot of money. Well, it depends on where you live. If you're in California, that's about right, I guess. Anyway, I got on medication for anxiety and depression in March. She didn't, because there isn't anything wrong with her, according to her. That is part of the reason why I think I am trying all I can do and feel that she is not trying enough, which creates resentment in me. She stands by the fact that her, quote, not leaving, unquote, is all she can do, and that's enough. I'm afraid I have to disagree, but I can't argue with her because she has the upper hand, being the one who wants to get a divorce. If she does nothing, she gets her way. Marriage is just a piece of paper, quote unquote, and doesn't have any real meaning in it. I was shocked when she said this because I didn't think that was who she was at all when we were dating. So now that's the history. Here's the now. She says I'm codependent because I want things from her. I want hugs, I want sex, conversation, and all the things I need from another person for, or that I need another person for, but I don't understand how that is being codependent. Something her therapist says she needs to break. She tells me this, but I don't know what to do with that information. We haven't had sex or even kissed in nearly a year. Every paragraph's got a sex reference, I've noticed here. Anyway, that's probably important. This weekend, she asked why we don't have an open marriage so I can get affection from somebody else. I don't want this, and I thought it'd be a kind gesture that I don't want another woman, but she didn't see it that way. There are several reasons I don't want to date again. I grew up with divorced parents. My wife did not, and I didn't want that for my kids. I can't afford a divorce. Frankly, I'm terrified of dating because I'm so stressed over the years that I can't imagine someone wanting to be with me at this point anyway. I want to fix things with my wife, and I don't know why she can't try and make things better. Divorce seems to be her default path unless she can get me to date someone, so I'm not looking to my spouse for anything, which makes me just a paycheck for her. I don't know what to do. I'm exhausted from trying to keep this marriage together. I literally put everything I have into this house, thinking it would help our family. Divorce will certainly bankrupt me. The longer I get my needs met, the longer I don't get my needs met, the harder it is to keep my sanity. Love to hear your thoughts. I don't want to watch my family fall apart. Signed, a husband. Well, it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
That feels like a big, ugly trap to me. And I don't mean she's setting a trap. I just mean, what are you going to do? Like, I have no idea what I would say to this person, but I'm guessing with your expertise, knowledge, and experience, you might. So, Wendy, what do you want to do?
Okay, so you have no idea what you would say. Brian, what would you say?
Not being in this relationship, I don't know the emotional connection that he has to her, but I would say get out. I would say the longer you keep yourself in this situation, and I think the big factor is probably the alimony, is the fact that divorce, he says he can't afford divorce. That's a tough thing. But man, I wouldn't want to be a member of any club that didn't want me, basically. So I would get out while I'm still young enough to move on, and be as much of a father to my kids as I can be, and just get all those things that I need from somewhere else.
I did have a conversation with Kim the other day that may have bearing on this, where I said, it was a joke, but I said, this would be the perfect time for us to get divorced. And she hit me in the arm. She goes, what do you mean? And I said, I said this. I said, well, of course I'm not serious, but the reason it would be a good time now is because my youngest is 19. The other girls are independent and out there and going. And I said, having to worry about paying you every month would be a lot cheaper if I divorced you now than it would have been when the kids were little. And then she hit me in the arm again. And I said, just kidding. And then we went about our day. But
Kim's in the right on this one, by the way. Multiple hits to the arm.
I don't disagree. I mean, I was in a
kinds
mood.
Of jokes, yeah.
But anyway, it's there. That's the other thing, is they're in this. He didn't say how old his kids were, I don't think, but it sounds like they're pretty young.
Two kids under 5.
Under 5. There it is. So anyway.
Okay, so you two, Scott has no ideas, and then Brian, yours is a pretty common like that response, because you're coming from a position of enough self-confidence that that's exactly what you would do. And what I hear from this email is that there's a couple. He doesn't have that, first of all, right off the bat. But there's a couple things happening that he has actively done to put himself in this place. And I have all the sympathy for him in the world. Like, this is super tough. First of all, late 30s with 2 kids under 5, taking on a huge mortgage. That's the American dream, dude. And also, it destroys people. And how it destroys people is really hard. It's really hard to have 2 little kids. And especially if you have 2 working parents and you're sort of juggling everything. So there's a whole lot of who's doing what, who's picking up who's cleaning that. And it's like you're both become nannies, provider, like everybody's got a lot of jobs. So it sounds like she's also probably had a bit of postpartum emotional stuff happen to her. Maybe depression sounds maybe like that's a thing. And the reality is she's not feeling that connection. Maybe she's not feeling other connections. I don't know. But that's her part of that, right? And his part, which is what people would do. So I don't blame him for this, of course. It's to do whatever it takes to keep that marriage together. But what that actually means to keep a marriage together would require very different behavior. Because the intuitive thing to do is to do what he's done. Buy the bigger house. That'll fix it. Or make sure she's never unhappy, right? Like, try to cater to all of this stuff. Like, okay, so no affection, no sex, no touching, no nothing. I'll just respect that, and eventually that turns into years. I mean, that is so it's very intuitive how this sort of all plays out and happens, and this is why this is a very common story, as much as they may not realize it is very common. So then to go to couples counseling that's a great idea. The problem actually starts to occur when a couple starts to see somebody individually, a member of the couple, because what do you do when you go into counseling when your marriage is rough? You go in and you talk about how bad your spouse is. And eventually the therapist, who has no connection to the other person, is saying, well, you sound pretty miserable. Is this really what you want to do? And they're sort of like, no, I want divorce. And then suddenly you get this reinforcing cycle. In fact, we know if people in marriage counseling take off and do individual, they're much more likely to divorce, like significantly higher numbers do. And there's a reason, because you're not with that person dealing with the stuff. You're with a person who's empathetic and going, yeah, that's rough. Okay, you got to live your best life. And so that has been not a great thing on one hand. However, if she was getting treated for depression, that'd be maybe an important thing. I don't know. He didn't mention that, but that was my suspicion with 2 kids in a couple years and a busy life. Can suck anyone's soul. And this is kind of midlife crisis time for everybody too. So there's a lot going on. But here's a thought that the thing that I think is hard here is she's using words like codependent because as she describes him to her therapist, that's how he sounds. Whether he is or not, I don't know. But, sort of needing her always pleading to have everything work out, staying no matter what, regardless of how you're treated, is an example of someone who's codependent. It's an example of somebody who, when you build your life around trying to make someone who's unhappy happy, you become codependent. So we should define that really quick. So codependency sort of originated in the alcoholism movement of, the alcoholic has somebody in their life that kind of bails them out of jail, right? That person who will always hope that they get better and fix stuff that they messed up to just keep it all going. Often it's a spouse. And so that's kind of where we get that original term from. And so if you think about how codependency might work in any other relationship, it's interdependency is what we want, right? So he's right about touching, hugging, loving each other, being friends, connecting, all that stuff is interdependency and crucial to a relationship. But when it's completely one-sided, then it's going to look more like codependency. Like, I can't live without you. I'm willing to sacrifice all my needs and wants and because I need you to be happy. And then it's this vicious cycle, right? So he's right in the middle of this, the vicious cycle.
And the worst thing that could happen in that part is that she says, okay, because then he feels like anything he do isn't going to be good enough because it has to be measured up against giving up everything for her.
Right. And you cannot, and this is my opinion, it's, take it or leave it, but I have never, ever, ever, ever seen a relationship like this work where one works 1,000 times harder than the other. And I don't mean for just periods of time. Maybe someone's struggling with an addiction or there is an affair and reconciliation can happen. I mean, there are lots of cases where temporarily you may be working a little harder than your spouse. But as an ongoing, she's trying to say, I don't know if I want to be in this, and you are demanding it continue, then that is not a long-term sustainable thing. And part of it is she's maybe not able to say what she really thinks and wants. She maybe doesn't know. I mean, so let's just analyze her for a second. And you guys can answer as, women in your late 30s who have 2 small children. Why are you confused about whether you want to be with your husband or not? Why is this a question? Why isn't our advice quickly to her to go like run or stay or what would you say to her? What do you guys think?
Oh man. I mean, if I was to, the part of the picture that I have from just his email is that she's just in this little space that doesn't have any desire to go forward. Like it's all just enough. Like just barely enough to subsist, to exist. Anything beyond that is too much work, to the point that she'll even say, hey, go find some lady companionship in some other way, because I don't want to. But I'm
which
cool.
makes me wonder if she's already done that.
Yeah, that did enter my mind. And so Brian's not wrong that seems possible, but I feel like we don't have a really good view. I think this may be his view of where she's at, but maybe she's just hiding something. I don't know.
So, okay, interesting. Of course, dudes are going to think that. Just kidding. No, I mean, that's obviously very possible. But my first thought is definitely not that. My first thought is there are probably women listening and people, probably not, but I know a lot of women have expressed this at various times in privacy to me, that is, some of them are sort of feel like they become asexual and they just are 0-bit interested and would love their husband just to leave them alone. Can they just be buddies and watch Netflix? I'm not kidding. That's a thing you guys don't know about, but it's true. And so it's very possible that there is some of, like her sex drive has gone through the floor. I personally, if I was her or her good friend, I would demand she get a panel of blood taken and look at all of her functioning systems. Like, is her thyroid shot after pregnancy? What does her hormone situation look like? She's, there's very possibly some biological explanations for some of this. And likely I would assume, has some version of depression. And so, treating all of that stuff first and then treating the marriage is ideal. Here's the challenge with that, though. He is in the codependent, we'll use their term, position in this relationship where him begging her to get medical evaluation is just one more thing he's doing all the work for, right? maybe that could be his last ditch effort. Like, listen, if you get all this blood work done and you get an evaluation that is, first of all, biological to make sure everything post baby is okay, health wise, all sorts of that sort of tested, and everything is 100% normal and you are, fine, and you really don't want to be with me. Okay. That's one thing. And so that would be maybe a place to put some effort, but it does need to be her decision. That's what makes this tricky. So maybe she could listen. Because I'm guessing she doesn't feel like herself. I'm guessing she feels trapped. I'm guessing 5 and a 3-year-old who she loves and cares for, but did not recognize life would feel this way and end up this way. And how do you get out? You don't, or you want to, but you can't. And so you stay, and part of you is dying, and or you've got some other things happening that mimic all these feelings. We can screw up a thyroid and absolutely mimic the exact same feelings you'll have with postpartum depression. So it's really important that there is some look into that, I think, for anybody who's listening, who's thinking like, I do not feel like myself, something is off. It is, something is usually off. But then you can see how that impacts your relationships. This will be a familiar refrain for some folks, is that at various times, if you're hungry and grumpy, you treat people differently, right? Mm-hmm. So that type of thing can have an impact. But let's go back to the guy for a second. What does he do in the meantime? So he can suggest medical evaluation. He can suggest that she make sure everything's working like it's supposed to. And then what if it is? His next step, and this is where he doesn't mention that he's done his own work. He's talked about her going to therapy and them going to couples. Am I right? Did I miss something?
He did say that he got on medication for anxiety and depression. So that seems to lean towards the fact that he's done gotten some therapy or medical advice.
Or he went to his general practitioner and said, I'm sad, and got a pill.
Right.
That's probably what happened.
Yeah, that could easily, sure.
And so likely, because again, here's the position he's in. He's the savior of the family. And he's trying to do all of this rescuing and making sure everything works, which means he can't actually be doing any real introspection about his own needs, his own behavior, because he's in the victim position who has to be the savior. That's a rough combo. And no one can do it. I mean, maybe someone named Superman, but I've never met anyone who can do both of those things.
Yeah.
And some real honesty, real openness, real hard discussions, and, a deep dive into what he needs and what they would need as a couple and what they both really want, which would include potentially it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. To me, is the remedy. And that's the hard work. Most people don't know how to get started, or maybe it's just too terrifying, because he's got this entire plan. I will be bankrupt. I will lose this house. I won't, my poor kids. Everything he has to lose keeps him behaving the way he's behaving. Mm-hmm. And similarly, everything that she has to lose keeps her behaving the way she's behaving. And in her case, it's maybe not divorce that's the loss that she's so afraid of, but she's lost maybe herself. She's lost a feeling like it matters in her life to have this partner and that connection. She just strikes me as numb, and I don't know if that's the right response. But
yeah, but it does sound like very apathetic, very closed off, and I do picture her as being kind of just not immobile, but unmoved by any of his declarations of love and stuff like that. Just kind of apathetic to it all.
Right. And here's the tricky part about marriage is okay, so you sign a piece of paper. Okay, cool. And then things progress and life changes, and you have to adjust. So Esther Perel is a pretty famous marriage counselor. You can listen to her. She has some podcasts where she does a 2-hour session with a couple. That's it. That's all she's seasoned for, is like, maybe it's 4 hours or something crazy. And she edits it to like 30 or 40 minutes. It's fascinating. So if you want to listen to some fun couples therapy live, she does a great job. And anyway, there's a TED Talk you can see that she does, and some other things. But she talks about this concept of everyone has 3 marriages. And if you're lucky enough, it's the same person each time. But there's that first marriage. And I think that's what this couple has had. They had the first marriage, and then kids come along, which always bumps you into the second marriage. And a little early on their part. It's that the, sort of trying to put money in the bank years and make sure the kids are getting what they need years. And, that's not your first marriage. You wouldn't have married if you thought that's what it was. Because it's hard. The second marriage is hard. And some people they'll get divorced after that first marriage. They'll marry someone else. And then they're trudging through that second marriage, which is why second marriages have such a high divorce rate. It is hard. And then the third marriage is sort of retirement age, kids out of the house. Yeah. So you guys are well on your way to your third marriages. So
Tina and I dabbled in our third marriage a little bit, but through no fault of our own, came back to our second marriage.
Revisiting that. And here's where this guy, it is clearly a transition situation. Either you guys have to decide to remarry each other, or you need to move on to your actual other second marriages, if that makes sense. Like the work it's going to take to, you can't just expect her to give you affection because you were married the first time, right? To stick with my analogy. The actual relationship, connection, she owes you nothing, you owe her nothing. There is still a building of a relationship that has to occur. And I think sometimes people can get confused by that. Well, we've been married and this is just what you do. And there is a lot to just like pretend that is fine their whole marriage when it's not, or are a sexless couple. That's very common. Like to really navigate that second marriage with kids and a mortgage is heroic.
Everybody's got their different idea of what marriage is when you're going into it. And so when you triple that with 3 different marriages, it gets even more complicated. Like, we were on the same page before kids came along. And then we kind of grew further apart when the kids were, because we were both focusing on raising the kids. And so we had nothing to come back to when they left the house.
Plus that first marriage is kind of awesome and sexy and great and free of like weird stuff.
Scott,
it's awesome.
Scott keeps bringing up sex. I wonder if there's
something going on. Hey, well, maybe it's that new tea. I'm getting that low tea I had. Now I got the new tea.
It's the tea. It's the tea shots.
So,
have you heard about his tea shots?
No, she hasn't. We're gonna tell Wendy about it right now. So about 4 years ago, I was complaining about how tired I was and pooped I was, and Wendy, on the side note, said, "Hey, you know what you ought to do? You should go in and get like a testosterone workup, just see how you're doing." And I said, "Oh, that seems like maybe a thing," but I never did it. Okay, I just kind of didn't do it. It sounded like work, and I'm like Dad. I don't go to the doctor for any other reason except we're in the ER, right? I just don't like going.
I am the same. Ugh.
It's a Johnson thing. But anyway, recently, I was just super tired again. Always tired, always worn out. And I went in to get blood work done, and it came back super low. I actually meant to tell you this. But it came back really, really low. It's supposed to be 500 to 900 in my age range, and it's like 140. And
what?
Yeah, I know. It was really low. It's not like, the lowest they've ever seen, but it was pretty low. So I took my first testosterone shot last Tuesday. I'll have another one next Tuesday. It's every other week. And this chat room's reposting the clip of me doing it
the video of Scott getting his tea shot.
I got my tea shot. Not graphically. Kim was just back there somewhere in the distance giving me a shot. But anyway, the reason I bring all this up is I can already feel a difference, and I have way more energy than I had before. And I've only had this like small dosage shot once, and I haven't even had the second one yet. And it's already made that big of a difference. It's entirely possible, like you said earlier, that she's got issues just on the female side of that spectrum. And that needs to get that checked out. It's still the issue of it's him doing all the work to drive her to do a thing she doesn't feel like doing. And maybe she's like I was 4 years ago, where Wendy gave me perfectly good advice, and I said, nah, just kind of blew it off, right? But I don't know. Like, I don't know what it takes to be the time to make it happen. For me, it was just, I'm tired of feeling like garbage. Let's go get blood done. And that's what came back. So.
Yeah. And I would recommend with the 3 and 5 year old, you do not wait 4 years, because if you're going to divorce, now's the time.
Yeah.
For their benefit. I tell you, when I meet people whose parents are divorced, and I rarely meet a kid whose parents got divorced when they were 3. and it has an impact. But when they are 9 and 10 and 11 and 12,
yeah, it's bad.
Because they know and they get it, and it's so much harder. Well, and Scott, your point is a really good one. It is easy to hear advice. I mean, this is the human condition, right? Like, we kind of know what we're supposed to do sometimes, we just don't do it. But what this would require, and this is something for him to really mull over, is to make this time sensitive, because it is. So when I have a couple come in who are sort of rocky and a mess, and one person's kind of like not in it as much as the other one, that's very common. Is that I put a time frame on what we're going to do, because they're just thinking, I don't want to go to therapy the rest of my life to talk about this thing I've already talked about. And what it is I say, okay, you have 3 months. You give me everything you have for 3 months. You do everything I say. You perform all the duties that you're supposed to do, and you try, and we hash through these really hard things. We create a lot of cool positivity in their life separate from therapy. And then therapy has certain aspects. And I get them both to commit to it, it works. If they can't commit to 3 months of giving everything, then I already know it's not going to work.
Yeah, people just straight up go, I can't do it. Like,
right.
No,
right.
Interesting.
And the hard thing is, like, in your case, if I had said, Scott, like, you have 3 months to get this blood work, or I'm going to, I don't know, take your dog away, you would have done it.
Hit him where it hurts.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking, what would be painful? That would be painful, right? But you know what I'm saying? Like, we're motivated because we're used to feeling like garbage.
Yeah.
To stick with the feeling like garbage until it gets too much. I mean, that's a pretty famous therapy quote. Is essentially like, no one changes until it's too painful not to change. And so here's the problem, though, with little kids in a house and a life like this, is you can just numb. I mean, the numbing, the depression, the anxiety, all of this stuff, these are all just warning bells. Your body's like, I have the freaking flu. You cannot keep doing what you're doing. And so he needs to care about himself. He needs to matter. And I get it. You don't feel confident right now. Of course you don't. You've spent how long trying to get someone to love you? Like, there's a reason your confidence is through the floor, but it'll come back. But the only way for that to happen is for you to do the stuff necessary. This takes a lot of courage. It's going to require a lot of support. And so that was one thing I would also recommend, is get your support system online, in real life, in your base, so that you are, you feel like you're surrounded with good people who care about you, and that, are reasonable and are going to listen, and also maybe give you a little advice, but you just don't feel alone. That's important, because the more she's the only thing in your world, the more screwed you are.
So I was gonna
doesn't give her a chance to want you. It
Right,
doesn't.
right.
it's actually so unappealing
It's
to have
the
you
other,
doing this.
yeah, it's the opposite, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was gonna skip over a thing, but too many people are asking about it in the chat, and I actually have a very good friend who I will not name here that went through this exact thing, and it's maybe worth bringing up, because then you can just say whether we're all up in the night or not. But based on the email, there's people in the chat room who are saying this feels like a situation where my radar's going off, where maybe her orientation is become a question in her head, and after kids, she's maybe I like women or something. The same thing happened to a friend of mine who had 2 kids, and things were real weird, and they couldn't figure out what was weird, and she finally figured it out, and she was gay, and they got a divorce. They're all very friendly now, but rough period. Is there any chance that's going on here? And I mean, we probably don't know enough information, right? Like, and even if you did, what are you going to say? Like, we just don't know enough information. You got to have them in a room, I would think, to ask those kind of questions.
Totally. And it's the kind of thing, like, if she obviously, it's going to require her to be aware and honest about that. And so, yeah, it's a possibility, but the other possibility is asexuality, changing sexuality, depression, chemical asexuality, which is definitely a thing, being neutered chemically, like you just have zero desire. And I think if we had a room full of moms with little kids and had them raise their hands, you would see there's a common denominator of the stress of that stage of life, and kids climbing all over you and needing something from you every minute just reduces your libido naturally, and if not chemically. So there's a lot of possibilities. Obviously, you'd have to sit down and ask, but
maybe people are watching too much Friends, and they look at Ross and his first wife and her going gay. You guys are just watching too much Friends. Your Friends radar's going off.
You're watching too much Friends.
Yeah, that's your answer.
And it may be. I mean, there's lots of possibilities. I think the risk though is that he focuses on her. The risk is to keep thinking if she just changes her mind, everything goes back to normal. No, your second marriage it's like you have the worst engagement and you are deciding, do you guys really want to do this second marriage? And you've got to figure out how to reconnect for him to be a person again. The best thing for those kids is that you're two healthy adults. That's the best thing. And right now there's a swirling sort of toxicity within the relationship that he perpetuates and she perpetuates. And so breaking that up by doing things very differently is really, really crucial, but it takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of faith, because it's sort of like the belief of, I just kind of hang on, it'll work out, or she'll come around is tempting, but it's dangerous because it rarely happens. It rarely is a turnaround with no intervention and just sort of living life, everyone in denial. So yeah. And the opposite may be totally true. Leave everything alone, it'll all work out. But that's just not been my experience.
Does not feel like that's going to happen.
No.
Yeah. No. Well, I guess, I don't know. I just feel really bad for this guy. I want it to work out. Let us know if this
feel bad for both of
helps.
them, really, but yeah.
Yeah, the whole situation is just hard. You're waking up every day with these feelings, and I can't imagine that. I got up today at 4 a.m. It was awful because getting ready for Kim to go to camp, and I just remember thinking to myself this morning, like, this would suck so bad if I wasn't so into her, and if she wasn't so into me. This would just suck, because this is work. Everything's work. It's all hard. Planning and taking and doing and blah, 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 blah. Like, it all takes all this work, and if you're doing that work with someone who doesn't like you anymore, or it was just going through, even if it's just a period of this or whatever, it sounds so miserable. So I really feel for this guy, and I hope we can get better. No, chat room, it's called Love Scott. No, I know what it is. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's some mystery thing I don't understand. I know what it is. Anyway, gotta stop reading the chat room. So Wendy, this has all been good. Next week we'll have another hack at it and see if we can help somebody else and a few other people along the way. Is there anything happening in your neck of the woods that you'd like to mention at all?
Yeah, at some point, but not at the moment. I'm just trying to survive summer and not give my kids up for adoption. That sounds terrible. That's the feeling some days. But other than that, we're good.
Yeah, you told me the range the other day, and I couldn't believe it. You said 7 to 17. That's insane to me. When did that happen? Like yesterday? Like
it really did. It did. Wow. So I'm excited for them to hang out with their adult cousins. Maybe some maturity will rub off on them.
Maybe you still have the youngest kids, I guess, in the whole reunion. I think.
Yeah,
I guess if you're of our generation, that is, I guess, because you got Taylor's got a baby and Chris and Anna have a baby and all that. But yeah, you guys are the holdouts. Which makes me.
It's really fun.
Yeah, and Mom and John they're just subsisting. They're just there. They're just that's terrible. That's terrible. I love them. I had texted her yesterday and told her how I missed her, and I can't wait to see everybody together and blah blah blah.
Good. And remember, her birthday's Saturday.
Yeah, it's this Saturday, everybody. My mom's birthday is on Saturday. Do not let me forget it.
Please, someone text and remind him, because I will try, but I might forget.
Just flood
Send her a lovely Elton John disc.
Yeah. Now, Wendy may not know this, but Brian is saying that because I think Mom looks like current Elton John. It's just a thing I say. I think she looks like Elton John. Ever since Elton John got a little older, Mom looks like Elton John. That's the reference.
Great. No, I knew that. You didn't have to.
Oh, you did know that? I didn't know you knew that.
Yeah. And so I laughed because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe you talked to 1,000 strangers about how you think your mom looks like Elton John.
But you knew the whole time that she did look like Elton John a little bit. It's not like even a bad thing, It's more like Elton John looks like my mom. It's the other way around.
He's a national treasure.
Yeah. International treasure.
Keep talking.
International treasure. Yeah.
That's right. Lion King makes music. Anyway, Wendy, have a fantastic time, and we'll see you very soon.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
All right. Well, that was a good time there.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. We're done with the show. I did have a thing. Oh, Dave just sent me a new text. I have a new code. Check this out. We're doing this this stream of hey, Scott's getting old. It's coming up in a week and a half, and so why not save people some money on the store? Yesterday it was 50% off. You know that number means something. The 50 part.
Yeah. 50 is relevant or something.
Turns out, Brian, it's a little relevant. Yes. I know, weird, right? I mean, it's hard to even get our head around what's going on there. So, so as a result, we're doing it again today. Today's deal is live. It's up on the store now. If you go there, you will find it. It is the code is now OLD, OLD, and you get 50% off the TMS Tiger mug. Okay, so the 50% off the TMS Tiger mug. We didn't even think we had any of those left, but we have a few. So
I don't even know the tiger mug. Do you drink tiger blood out of it?
It's just got a tiger on there. Wait, is the tiger one, or am I thinking of the? He said tiger. Did he screw up? Maybe he means the duck one, because I have one with a duck on it. Oh no, it is the TMS Tiger mug. Hold on. Why did he call it the tiger mug? I don't know why he's calling that the tiger mug. Is it because it's got the Chester Cheetah, wasn't he a tiger on the back? That's why.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Relive one of our greatest moments here on TMS.
Yep. That is normally a $16 mug. You can get that for half off today for just using that code OLD at checkout. So that's today's deal. It'll go till noon Eastern tomorrow. OLD is the code. frogpants.com/store. Yeah, it's a pretty good deal. All right.
You're silly if you don't take advantage of that. Silly, I tell you.
I agree. Hey, Brian and I will be back here tomorrow for another edition of TMS, but it will be the PM edition, so 3:30 Mountain Time tomorrow, so come back for that. And what else is going on? There's other shows this weekend, all kinds of streams.
Guess the Connection on Coverville. Guess the Connection tomorrow at 1 p.m. My usual Coverville time, but on Fridays I do Guess the Connection, win a prize. Got some cool prizes to give away, so figure out what the 6 covers I play have in common, besides them being covers and besides the fact that I'm playing them.
I like
because I always get guesses. Yeah. The 6 songs are the ones you're playing. It's what they have in common, or they're covers, or whatever.
Do people really say that in there?
Yes, but facetiously.
They'll still do it now. They'll do it more now.
None of these people have ever been in my kitchen.
So yeah, tomorrow that'll be that. You'll have the instance in the morning, I believe. And what else are we gonna do tomorrow? There's other things. I can't think of any. Film Sack this weekend. What's our movie?
Red Dawn.
Oh, Red Dawn, right. Wolverines. So that's going to be a thing. Brian's never seen Red Dawn.
We're the best at what we do, and what we do isn't nice.
You kind of have it right. That's exactly the point of that movie. So that'll be fun. And then there will be Dungeons on Saturday. All kinds of good stuff this weekend. So do stick around and check it out. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Patreon.com/TMS. That's how you can support us. If you're looking for anything else, you can find us over at frogpants.com/TMS, or just hit frogpants.com and you can find it. It's all there. All right, Brian, what else? Song.
Take us out with a song?
Yeah,
Scott?
Song.
Is that what I should do?
Song.
Brian B. wrote in. Is this the one I'm doing? No, I'm doing this one today. Greg from Boston wrote in and said, well, hello, kimchi and cauliflower.
Whoa.
Because he's talking about 2 things that we enjoy. Mm-hmm. On July 11th, I'll be turning 52, and would love to hear a cover of my favorite band, The Cars, pronounced Kaz, here in Boston. Good Times Roll, or any other Cars song of your choice. Great meeting you in Vegas. Love, Greg from Boston.
Nice.
I remember us giving him a hard time because he had the thick Boston accent when we were hanging out after the concert. So I looked at my covers of Good Times Roll. I don't have a great cover of Good Times Roll. I've got a couple okay covers of Good Times Roll, but I decided to go with another Cars cover because you said, or any other Cars cover of your choice. This one rocks, and it feels like a Green Day cover of the Cars. This is a band called The Frustrators from their 2002 album Achtung Jackass. Which is my favorite U2 album, never released. Really this is The Frustrators with their cover of My Best Friend's Girl.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Come on back then. Be with us. We'll see you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Jerkwater USA.
Yeah. Jerkwater USA.
Jerkwater. The jerk store called and they're running out of you.